Hi there, it's Nicole and this for Simon Says Stamp, and this is the Hey Love blog hop, and I have created a set of 3 cards using a couple of my favorite techniques. The embossed resist for my background, plus I've layered over an awesome text background stamp over that, and I am creating some dimensional die cut greetings. Lots of new products from the Hey Love release. I absolutely love the release. I love creating Valentine's and loved themed projects, and this is no exception. I even pulled in this Happy Valentine's Day die from the past released, not the Hey Love release, but the Stamp Timber release, I believe. And just to mix it up just a little bit. So I'm going to start with my background panel, and I am using some Bristol Smooth cardstock here. And I'm going to use one of the brand new background stamps. This is the Emma background, and I'm going to stamp this on my background that I've trimmed down slightly smaller than the 5.5 by 4.25 inches with Versamark ink. And then I'm going to heat emboss this with clear embossing powder. I actually created 2 of these when I was doing it, and then I realized I wanted to do something a little different. So I am going to end up using both backgrounds, and then I'm going to create another background with one of the other great background stamps as well. But 2 of these backgrounds are exactly the same using this great Emma background stamp. So I'm going to simply sprinkle on my clear embossing powder and then heat set this with my heat tool. There you can kind of see the design. I missed a couple areas, so I'm going to just put a little more powder on, and then I'm going to start heating this up. And the detail on these backgrounds is so amazing. There are so many fun techniques you can do with these. I absolutely love them. These are some of my very favorite stamps from this Hey Love release. So I'm just going to keep moving my heat tool until all that embossing powder is nice and melted. Maybe you can see it a little bit if I tip it. And then I'm going to start the embossed resist with my distress inks. And I'm actually only using 2, the Candied Apple and Dried Marigold distress inks. This is one of my favorite color combinations this year for love themed cards. I love the orange and red together. It gives kind of a peachy pinky color that I just really, really like. So I went with red in the center, and then I'm doing this orange around that. I'll go back with my red, and then I'll finish with a little more orange, and I'll keep blending until I get a really nice blend all the way around this Emma background stamped and embossed design. So, so pretty. The distress inks blend a lot nicer on the Bristol Smooth cardstock than regular smooth cardstock. I had a YouTube viewer mention this to me, and she was so right. I absolutely love how the distress inks blend on this cardstock, but it's still a smooth cardstock as opposed to a watercolor cardstock. So I really, really love that. Once I have buffed off some of that excess ink from the background, I was originally going to stamp this just on my background here, but it's much easier to use the MISTI to do this and get it lined up perfectly. So what I'm going to do is just take my panel, stick that right there in my MISTI. I'm going to ink up part of my background with the dried marigold and part with the candied apple and stamp that. So it's kind of an ombre effect from light orange to red. The background is going to be very, very subtle. You're not going to see a ton of it, but it is going to add some nice texture to the background. I'm going to press that in place really well and lift that up, and you can see that great, nice, light text. So there is my background. I am going to spritz this with a little water from a distress sprayer. And the water is going to react with the distress ink and wick away that ink in certain places. It's very subtle. You're not going to see a lot of it. Just in little places here and there, it's going to be lighter. And then I'll just go ahead and dry that with a paper towel. I've also got some fun foam here and stick it. I'm going to put the stick it on both sides. This is my favorite way to create dimensional die cut greetings. A lot of times I will just use white cardstock and color the cardstock to whatever color I want. Today I'm going to go ahead and use some gold foil cardstock and create a metallic dimensional die cut greeting. I like to make sure and run that fun foam with the Stick It through my Big Shot once to get the fun foam, or the Stick It rather, very stuck to the fun foam. Then I'm going to die cut the word love using the love die. And then I've also got from a long time ago the Simon Says Stamp mini heart set, which is still one of my all-time favorites. And I'm going to die cut that from that gold foil as well to create some dimensional die cut gold hearts. Just going to peel off my Post-it tape I used to hold that in place, and then gently peel out and pop out my die cut word. Now the love was much easier to get out than the Happy Valentine's Day. It was a little tricky. I don't know if it was the gold foil paper or what, but I really had to work hard to get the Happy Valentine's Day out. It was a little time consuming, but I think it's worth it. And I'll show you that card here in a little bit, a little closer to the end of the video. I'm going to peel out or pop out all those little pieces from the inside of my letters, and then I'm gently going to just lay my die cut word on my card where I want it to go, but I'm not going to press it in place too hard yet because I want to add a little greeting banner in a minute. I'm also going to attach some of the little dimensional hearts there that I die cut at the same time as the dimensional word. And then using one of these Simon Says Stamp basic banners, I'm going to die cut that from some vellum cardstock, use the powder tool on that, and then stamp an additional greeting phrase from the Love stamp set from the Hey Love release using Versamark ink, and then I will heat set that with white embossing powder. So it's going to be very subtle, but a pretty little banner that will be right underneath the die cut word. So I'm just heating that up. I'm going to hide my adhesive behind the embossed areas with my glue pen. Just add a few little dots. The rest of it's going to be held down with my sticker dimensional die cut word here. It's just going to be tucked kind of underneath. I'll secure it with my die cut word. I can press that in place once my banner is where I want it to go. So there is my greeting. I am going to go ahead and attach a few more hearts. I loved these gold hearts. I thought they were a fantastic addition, so I'm going to add just a few more of those. So I love that peachy pink color with the gold foil. Now I am going to wrap a little bit of twine around here, but I'm going to make this little well to hold the twine. Because this whole panel is going to be attached to my card base with foam adhesive, I am going to place that foam adhesive on the back, but leave a little strip open where I'm going to be able to wrap my twine around. So I'm just going to back the whole thing here with my twine, and I'll show you here in a second where that little well is. I've wrapped it around. I'm just going to tie that in a little bow on the front. It's going to kind of serve to appear like it helps hold my banner in place, adds a little bit of embellishment to the left side of the card, and then I peeled off my backing paper and attached that right to my card base. I'll secure the knot in the bow with some glossy accents, and then I'm going to finish my card with a scattering of pretty pink posh sparkling clear sequins in 6mm and 4mm size, attached with some Zotz Bling glue dots. So very simple, very elegant, such a pretty way to create some very lovely love-themed or Valentine's-themed greeting cards. This is the other background I used. This is the Elizabeth background. Again, I'm going to do the same thing, except the design of this card is going to be landscape instead of portrait. I'm going to ink that up, stamp that with Versamark ink, heat emboss it with the clear embossing powder, just like I did with the other one. and then add my same two Distress ink colors, the Candied Apple and Dried Marigold. You could create a whole set of these. The great thing about this particular design is it does not have to be a love-themed card. These could be birthday-themed cards, thinking of you cards, sympathy cards, anything goes. Very easy. You could create a whole set of these and give them as gift cards if you wanted to. Just a really fun way to showcase these awesome, amazing new background stamps. I absolutely love them. So very much applying the Distress ink, just like I did with the other one. I will use the Love Is background text stamp again. I will put that in my MISTI. I'm going to stamp that with my Distress ink colors, just like I did with the other portrait design card. So you have that great subtle text in the background. I'll spritz it with water, blot that dry with a paper towel, kind of buff any of the embossed areas off so you can still see that great white detail. I've die cut a little bit bigger banner here. Place that underneath the Happy Valentine's Day, and then I'm going to stamp Hugs and Kisses on my banner underneath and emboss that with some white embossing powder. Trying to get my greeting oriented just the way I want it to go. Heat that up real quick. I think I had a few stray little particles I wanted to get off before I heat set that. I'm just going to attach my string with a tiny attacher staple on this card, tighten a little bow at the top. Again, I'll secure that with some glossy accents so the knot doesn't come untied, and I'll finish the card with some dimensional die cut metallic hearts and some pretty Pink Posh clear, sparkling clear sequins. Thanks for joining me today for these cards showcasing stamps and dies from the Simon Says Stamp Hey Love release. The supplies I've used to create these cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Here are a couple more videos showcasing Simon Says stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.